Welcome back to the Joe Show, and joining me right now, I'm so excited to have back on the Joe Show. Last time we spoke with him, we talked a lot about the music industry and the vast wealth of knowledge that he has of working in the music industry. And he also does, we touched a little bit about what he also does, and he's performing in Niagara Falls at the Seneca Queen Theater on Saturday, November 25th, and also on New Year's Eve in Port Hope. He does a musical, and I don't even want to say what it is, and we'll get it for a second from him, but Elton Rohn is the stage name he goes by. It's like Elton John. So if you don't get to see Elton John, you see the next best thing. It's Ron Camilleri joining us. Hello again, Ron. How are you?
I'm doing great, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So I don't. Is it an impersonation that you do of Elton John? Or
Well, I see. You see, here's the thing, because I've had people say that before. I say, as an impersonator. To me, when I think an impersonator, I think of like a karaoke backing track with someone up with a microphone doing their best Elvis impersonation.
Right.
That's what I kind of think as an impersonator. Now, there's different levels of impersonation. I've seen some guys. Basically, what we try to do is I have a full band. We don't use any backing tracks. We don't cheat. We do everything live 100%. We sing in 4-part harmony. I have a 7-piece band, and sometimes we go up to an 11-piece with a 4-piece quartet, or we can even play with orchestra. We try to recreate the feeling of an Elton John show back in the 70s. So, yes, I look like him, and I throw on a costume, like leather jackets and with sequin pianos, and we sound almost exactly like Elton did in the 70s. I sound like him. I play piano like him. I look like him. The band sounds like the band. So I like to put it this way. When we played in Las Vegas, we met the band, and Davey Johnson from the band saw me in the room and called me over, and he just said that we play Elton's music from the 70s and the music they used to do in the 70s, the way they did it in the 70s.
Wow.
And obviously at this point now in their life, they're 70 years old. So it's harder for them to rock every night the way they used to. They're still fantastic, but their music has changed and they've kind of done different things and their voices have changed. We still sound like Elton in the 70s. We do everything in the original keys. We still hit all the high notes. We do all the harmonies. So Dave, he said they've watched our videos and he just said, you guys are great. So as long as we can still sing it, I like to say, people can call us whatever they like. If they want to say an impersonator, that's fine. But when they come, I think they're going to be really pleasantly surprised at just how much of an Elton John experience they'll get. Now, we get it every time we play. People say the same thing. Oh my God, if I closed my eyes, it was like I was listening to Elton John.
Yeah, and I know we talked a little bit off the air too that my girlfriend and I are coming to the show on the 25th to see you at Seneca Queen Theater, and we were listening to videos of we didn't got to watch the video because we were in a hot tub, so we didn't want to drop the phone in the hot tub. But we had
your life is rough, isn't it?
It is, yeah, no, I know. But we were listening to you in the hot tub, and she was like, "It sounds like probably what everyone else says. It sounds like Elton John. Like that is amazing." And then we threw on Elton John singing an original. So we played your song, or we played a song that you did of Elton John. Then we played the exact same song that Elton John did, and it was like, as you said, spot on. But now, why though? Because Elton's been around for decades. That you chose kind of the '70s era.
Well, when I was just a teenager, I was a teen in my early teens in the '70s, and when my dad brought home an Elton John record, I listened to it for the first time, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And at the time, all of us as kids, we used to sing, and I sounded like him back then. So when I was learning how to sing, I was a guitar player, but I would listen to the records and I would sing and sing and sing, and I found that I could do his inflections, and I could, the way he sang the songs, I could make my voice do that. And I always used to love singing in the car, and people would be in the car with me, an Elton John song would come on, I'd start singing along, and people would all comment, "Oh my God, you sound like Elton John." I've been like that my whole life.
Wow.
I didn't know that all these years later I could make money off of it. I just thought it was a really cool thing that I sounded like Elton. So, but I was a guitarist, right? So years later, I wanted to put the recording studio together, and I decided I'm going to buy myself a guitar and piano, because I wanted to learn piano. It's very important if you go into a studio to use MIDI. And when I got the piano, I started, how did I teach myself how to play? I listened to Elton John and Billy Joel records. So if you gave me classical music today to play, I'd play it like Elton John. That's the only way I know how to play. So I play the piano just like him, and I sound like him, and I happen to look like him. That's the trifecta. There's all kinds of guys out there. Yeah, there's all kinds of guys out there that may sound like the artist they're trying to be, but they don't look like him, or they look like him, but they can't sound like him. I'm just lucky. But that's the reason why the only guy I do is Elton John. I don't find myself looking or sounding like anybody else. So I kind of have to. You have to do what you play the cards you're dealt, right?
Absolutely. Now, and I was going to ask you, I know Elton is, like, I mean, we all know he's from the United Kingdom. He does travel all around. In Canada, he does have, in Ontario, like a place in Orangeville, I believe. I've been told that he has like a summer home there that's hardly ever used that much. But on the streets, because I mean, even when you aren't dressed up in those sequined coats and the hat or even the hat or the glasses, even, do people on the street mistake you as Elton John?
I was in a coffee shop lined up to get a coffee, and this lady behind me was staring at me with her kids, and she finally came up to me just before I was going to order, and she goes, "Excuse me, but we had to look a couple of times. We thought you were Elton John." And I kind of smiled, and she goes, "Do you know how much you look like Elton John?" And all I did was I reached inside of my jean jacket and I gave her my business card, Elton Rohn. And she says, I knew it. I've been in Walmarts where people have stopped me. We were in Chicago for a holiday. I was stopped at a red light to cross the street. And this really pleasant young lady, she wasn't that young. She was probably, say, in her 60s. And it's beautiful, like, you know how you get those New Orleans kind of women that they're barrel full of fun. She says to me, "You look like that guy. You look like that guy." And I didn't say, I just kind of smiled, and finally I said, "You mean Elton John?" She goes, "Yeah, that guy. That's what you look like." I get it all the time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now,
it just tells me that I look like him.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if you had a portable sequin piano and broke it out, you could say, like, I even sound like him too. But no, you give your card and they can check you out.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's funny because a lot of times people will request songs. We can't do all the songs in the show. So sometimes I'll come home to my recording studio and I'll actually record a version of the song that they want to hear, and I'll post it. And sometimes people say what they were listening to it. One of them actually challenged and said, "That's not you. You just sent me a copy of Elton John. You found a copy of Elton John singing this." I said, "No, it's really me. I recorded it in my studio." The guy wouldn't believe me.
Wow.
I'll give you some links to some tracks that I've recorded that you'll listen to. You go, "Oh my God, it's Elton John." It's just crazy. I just sound like him. It's like it's a fun thing for me.
Yeah,
and when I get recognized in public, it's just really fun. I mean, everyone's really nice.
And what a great compliment too. I mean, that's fantastic to know that. Okay, yeah, you look like him too, but to have that same sound and to be able to be expressed, like I know that Elton John, the real Elton John, is coming to the Niagara area. And as already passed already on the 15th, he's come and gone. But
it's like St. Catharines.
Yeah, in St. Catharines. But I'm more excited to see you, Elton Ron. I'm not even seeing Elton John. I didn't even bother to try to get Elton John tickets. I wanted to see Elton Ron. I was more excited to see you. Yes, yes.
We're a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, now
I tell people, I said, if you can't see the real thing, we're the next best thing, and we're a lot cheaper.
There you go. Now, but the quality is if not the exact same. Now, the show you're doing on the 25th in Niagara Falls, I'm guessing you do a different type of shows throughout the year. Or are they all the same? Because I know even next year you're pretty full, and you got New Year's Eve too in Port Hope.
Yeah, we do different shows. Some of the theaters have the projection screens, and I have full video projections behind me. And we kind of do what Elton does in Vegas. Elton does a lot of songs where his own images of himself run behind in various stages of dress and times in his career. So what I've done is I've videotaped so many of our shows that I've created videos of myself in all the different costumes that I've worn, and it scrolls across the screen the same way Elton does. So people get a good kick out of that. They get to see me in all, I probably have 20 or 30 different costumes or outfits that I've worn we've been doing it about 7 years now.
Yeah.
So I take as many photos of myself in these outfits live in concert, and we incorporate it into all the shows. So people get to see all the different types of things that I wear. we try to mix up all the songs show to show, and it depends. Sometimes we'll have a section of the show it's just requests, and we ask people and they yell out songs, and we try to do as many as we can. But it's so hard. He's got about 7. We calculated once. He's got about 7 hours of hits.
Wow.
So a typical show is about 2 hours, maybe with an encore.
Yep.
And then so the question is not what we're going to play. It's like what are we going to leave out? There's so many hits. We can't please everybody. And then someone will say, play Funeral for a Friend, and that's 11 minutes long. Well, that's like 3 hits we have to take out, right?
Absolutely. What is your favorite hit or favorite Elton song to play?
Favorite moments? I would say one of my absolute favorite moments is playing Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, because first of all, it's exactly in my pocket when I sing. I can make myself sound so much like Elton when I sing Don't Let the Sun. And we usually do it in the first set, towards the end of the set, if not the last song. And we always challenge ourselves. We've received so many multiple standing ovations when we do that song and all the different times we've done it. We don't end the show with it. We end the first set with it. So it feels so good. Because of that, I think it's one of my favorite songs, because I know it really takes the crowd and we bring them into the show. By that point, they've completely bought in. They're sold on the fact that, wow, these guys sound like Elton. And then the band plays so spectacularly well when we do almost all the songs, but I would say Don't Let the Sun would be one. When we do Benny and the Jets, the place goes crazy, so that's great. And if you're doing a festival, we played the Peterborough Music Festival. There was almost 10,000 people out there. So when you go into Benny and the Jets and you start to see everybody, singing along and screaming, that's a lot of fun. But I think we do something now. When we do Candle in the Wind, everybody in the audience holds their cell phones up.
Oh,
and
like
they start
a
to
lighter.
rock back and forth. Like a lighter, yeah.
Yeah.
We did Peterborough, and it was one of the guys in our band actually shone it out to the audience, and he started it. And I'll have to send you the video of it. There's like, there had to be 10,000 people there. I'd say there was at least 1,000 of them holding up their phones.
Wow.
It was like just one of these magic moments. So I look forward to that now in every show. It's just something that's happened. There's a lot of songs that they mean so much to the people. Last show we did Rocket Man, and we threw in a tribute to Tom Petty and Gord Downie right in the middle of it. So because we do everything live and we don't play the tracks, we have freedoms where we can break out into whatever we do. Sometimes we'll do a song that's 4 minutes. The next night we'll do it in at 7 minutes because we jam another song in the middle or something. It's just, that's the fun of playing. When you play with real musicians,
yeah,
and you get to know each other, you can do stuff like that. So it just makes it more fun.
It's so true. And we're speaking with Elton Rohn. You can go to his website, eltonron.com, and it's ROHN, like John, just replace a J with an R. And and it works out well because your first name is Ron without the H. It's Ron Camilleri. So how
my
convenient.
Keyboard player Laurie came up with the name. Our keyboard player Laurie Ingalls. Laurie's famous. Every time we're out, he's always coming up with these expressions. Like, believe it or not, like I asked the other night, I said, what song would people like to hear? So someone starts yelling out a song and someone something else. And about four or five songs later, someone yells out, Leaving on a Jet Plane. And I kind of looked and I said, Leaving on a Jet Plane. I said, you do know this is an Elton John concert, right? Everybody laughed. Well, Laurie comes right up off the top of his head with Elton John Denver. Like, this is what he does. This is what he does. He has this. It's like a gift he's been given. So when we were trying to come up with a name like to brand ourselves, he says, "We'll just call ourselves Elton Rohn."
That's fantastic.
We kind of looked at each other and said, "Okay, I can kind of buy that. I'm all right with that."
Yeah. Now
it works.
Now, were you Elton Rohn when you were playing down in Vegas and the Elton John band, like, they came to you and that, like, they, like, oh, you're using almost Elton John's name and blah, 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 or they were all cool with it, or you never had the Elton Rohn name back then?
I think at that time we were Elton Rohn. Before that, we were Ronnie and the Jets. And that was right around the time we were changing. And the reason that I went from Ronnie and the Jets to Elton Rohn is at the time I think when I first started doing this, it was a 4-piece. My brother was on drums and I had a couple other guys in the band. And then as I started to change, I realized that some places had huge budgets and they wanted us to come in with like, you know, a 4-piece quartet. We'd be 11-piece or more. And then other places just wanted me to play myself at the piano. And I thought if I was going to be Ronnie and the Jets, I couldn't really go and play a solo gig as Ronnie and the Jets. So that's when Laurie had joined the band at that point. He says, well, why don't we just use the name like Elton John? We came up with Elton Rohn, and that allows me to do anything. I can go play a solo gig. We can play as a 3-piece right up to an 11-piece with an orchestra. And it gives me a lot more freedom to book and do different types of shows under the name. It's like Elton John Band. If he called himself Elton John Band and then he went and did a solo show, it wouldn't really work. He'd have to go in as Elton John, right?
Right.
So it's the same thing for me. So that's why why I changed to Elton Ron.
Now, I know probably, I mean, whether you do a solo, I mean, you love probably doing any gigs, whether it's the solo gig or with the 4-piece or 8 or even 11-piece, but it's probably more so, I know for the audience would be like the full exposure, like you have everyone there, the whole 11-piece orchestra kind of deal.
Yeah.
But for you, what's better for you?
Well, if we really want to rock, the 6-piece band rocks the most. When we do a 6-piece, we have a 7th member who joined us probably on about maybe 60 or 70% of our shows. He does percussion and saxophone. It rocks too because he really knows how to rock Lester on sax. But when we bring in the strings, we purposely choose the songs with the beautiful string arrangements. And by the way, the gentleman who orchestrated all of Elton's albums just passed away, Paul Buckmaster, he's an absolute genius. But so we'll choose different songs. We'll do songs like The Ballad of Danny Bailey or I've Seen That Movie Too, where the string arrangements are just spectacular. So that it might not rock as much, but musically it is fantastic. So it's a little bit of a different type of show. If we don't have this string orchestra with us, then we'll do songs like All the Girls Love Alice from Yellow Brick Road, or we'll even go way back and do like Bad Side of the Moon, which he had way back in the 70s, which was a big hit for April Wine, but Elton wrote it. We can do songs like Saturday Night Sorry for Fighting don't have orchestra, so we'll play it and we'll extend it, we'll jam it out, we'll rock it a lot more. So it depends on where we are. Seneca Queen, I remember we played there a few times. They like to rock there. They like the real rockin' version. So we're going to come out rocking. We're going to pick a lot of songs that really pick it up, and it's going to be a really high energy show.
Nice.
Whereas if I'm playing something with the string quartet, it'll be a much more laid back, kind of a more musically elegant, if that's such a term, if you know what I mean. We'll do the songs that really showcase the orchestrations. That's not to say we won't do them when we come to Seneca Queen. We'll still do some of those songs, but I really want to take advantage of the fact that the guys want to party there.
Yes.
The people in Niagara Falls, when they come to our show there, they're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They love to get it going.
It is.
So we play to our audience. If they want to rock, we'll rock.
Yeah, and they sure do, and it's a beautiful venue there too in Niagara Falls on Queen Street in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, the Canadian side at Seneca Queen Theatre. Then you're at the Capitol Theatre in Port Hope for New Year's Eve, and then you end up in the new year, end up going over to across the states, and you're in Michigan and New York and Quebec, and you're all over. Like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, we just signed on to play Atlantic City. We're going to play the casino there. We're going to Philadelphia. We're playing back with the Bemis Pops Orchestra in upstate New York. We're going to Lexington, Michigan. We're going to be in Chicago. We played the Financial Park last year, and that's where I debuted my Chicago Cubs sequin costume.
Okay, all right.
Right after they won the World Series, so they've asked us back. We're going back to the Park Theater in Michigan. We sold out there last time. We're going to be playing there twice next year in the 18th. So we have a lot of U.S. dates, and then of course we're going to be playing a lot of the Canadian dates. We'll be back in Unionville at the Concert Bantel series there. That's always one of our fun stops. And we've already got we've sold out our show in Kirkland Lake, which is crazy. By the way, the show that we're going to be doing in Port Hope at the Capitol, that's almost sold out. So if you want to come to that, it's about 85% sold out. You better hurry. There's still some tickets for Niagara Falls.
All right.
So so tell everybody. This is it. You better grab your tickets.
Absolutely.
Well, and then we ramp it up for 18. We'll be doing about 40 or 45 dates, I think, so far.
Beautiful. And again, you can go to the website eltonron ROHN.com to get information, and then you can figure out how you can get tickets as well to any of the dates to a city near you. So
sure, and then or even come to our Facebook fan page, Elton Rohn fan page. We always put videos up there, and we'll post all of our dates there so people can, and they all chat with each other on our page, and they all make requests of which songs they want to hear. It's really kind of quite a fun page.
Very interactive.
Yeah, and when I was on Facebook, I happened to catch a photograph of you in the winter in a hot tub. Was that the hot tub you're talking about?
That was just recently. Yeah, that was.
I saw that picture of you.
Yes, and that was just before, that was before I was listening to you with a glass of wine. So
is that what you do? You get naked in the hot tub and listen to Elton Rohn? Is that what you do?
Absolutely. You got my guilty pleasure, Ron. You got it. Now, I also want to promote, too, because across Canada, along with the Elton Rohn music that you perform live and that stuff, you also write music and for the TV show on CTV as Ron Camilleri for Out There with Melissa DeMarco.
Out There with Melissa DeMarco. We're on City TV nationally. And I've been doing that now. We are in our 12th year. And to be perfectly honest, that's kind of my main gig. I started writing music for television, and that sort of got me really back and got my juices flowing, playing a lot. And I have my own recording studio here in my house, so I never really left my house. I stayed home, wrote music, and sent it down to the show. And then after that, we started playing these just for fun, going out to some local bars. And the Elton John thing sort of took off from there when people started to say, hey, you sound a lot like Elton John. And now that's now my time is split pretty much 50-50 between writing for the show and doing Elton. And I've just, I can let you know, I just agreed, I'm scoring a film documentary.
Oh, nice.
I met someone down at the TIFF Festival. Yeah, so I'm working on that now. So between writing original music for the television show, scoring this film documentary, and going out and playing Elton, that's kind of my life. That's what I'm doing. That's like, it's all music all the time now for me.
Oh, well, that's
fun.
You're living the life, that's for sure. Well, keep on running it so I can enjoy the hot tub more and keep on listening to it. Now,
do I get an invitation with you and all your friends?
Absolutely. And then when that time, then we'll put on bathing suits then. So.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, let me put it this way: I have a hot tub in my backyard. So sometimes when I write for the TV show, I'll jump in the tub. But I bet you I don't nearly have as much fun in my hot tub as you do in yours.
There you go. Well, I won't go any more from that. But I'll say this though: Out There with Melissa DeMarco is on City TV that across Canada. You can check that out. And again, Elton Rohn on Facebook and on the website eltonron.com. I know you're a very busy man, and for you to take some time to talk with me a little bit about what you're doing to promote your shows and your music and your career, I truly enjoy following you and looking forward to all your endeavors. I don't know how we actually it was a connection through Facebook somehow. Don't know how it really actually started, but I'm very happy that it did, and I came across you, and you're so close.
I got this weird invitation for a hot tub party one day, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
And it said, come see the little Elton John. Anyways, no. Okay. All right. Well, EltonRon.com is the website. Again,
and we're gonna see you at the show, right, Joe?
You're definitely going to see me at the show on the 25th.
So to all the people out there, this is like a double header. If you come out, you get to see the Elton Rohn show, and then maybe in the intermission you can sit and yak with Joe for a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the people can...
Celebrity sighting.
And people can still go to, I'm going to plug Seneca Queen Theater here for a second. They can go to still get those tickets at senecaqueen.ca, and that's where they can still get some tickets left. There's only a little bit left, but do so. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, and here's something that I've noticed, both with Seneca Queen and with the Capitol Theater in Port Hope. There's not a bad seat in the place.
No.
It's an intimate theater. So even if you're sitting in the back quarter of the place, it's like the most perfect seat. If you were sitting in a place that holds 2,000 people and you were in the front half, that's like being exactly almost in the back row of these theaters.
Yeah.
They're perfect. When I go to these theaters, I say, you know what? I'd like to sit in the back 5 rows. because you get to see everything. It's right in front of you. There's not a bad seat in the house.
No, and the acoustics in there, like I've been in the theater there before.
Wonderful.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, there's a great team of sound people in these. The smaller theaters seem to be built for acoustics.
Yeah.
Every time we go in there, it's like, wow, this sounds so cool. And they know what they're doing. They have great light systems in there. It's a really good show in a small, intimate theater. It's really, really great places to play. We just played we were at the Capitol Theater in where the hell were we? We were at Sudbury and North Bay.
Right.
So we played the Capitol Theater in North Bay, and it holds about 1,000 people. And it was so intimate. And I went, and during sound check, I sat right at the back of the theater, and I said, these seats are spectacular. Like it's like sitting close to the stage.
Yeah.
Would you take 1,000, anywhere from a 400 seat to 1,000 seat theater? The seats are all good.
Well,
great. Oh, we love playing them.
And we look forward to know that what you're going to be doing is going to be great, not just good and fantastic. So we'll see you on the 25th in Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a little bit of a rest before the show, so I'll be nice and rested. We'll be rocking on the 25th, I promise.
Awesome. Well, again, you can check out eltonron.com, SenecaQueen.ca. Get your tickets. We're going to take a short break. Again, thank you very much, Ron Camilleri.
All right. Thanks, Joe. See you soon.
Will do. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this.